How long of a week is it going to be for Nick Saban?
Ooh, a week. I mean, it might be a long year or multiple years for Nick. You don't see Nick get too sympathetic with emotion, I guess you could say. But that in the halftime interview after the game, you could see it. I mean, he felt bad. He felt bad for Tua and what happened, and clearly probably regrets the decision in a lot of ways because they were going to pull the kid before that series. It was pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Mac Jones was warming up on the sideline. Tua was high-fiving, shaking hands with people on the sideline. His day was over, and then they wanted to put him back in to do now, I don't want me to be taken up for Nick here, but it seems to me that was probably one of his assistants' idea. Let's get him some 2-minute drill work, and they put him back in, and that happens. It's just sad to see. It really is.
Ross Dellenger here with us on Off the Bench. So Alabama now, what do we make of them without Tua for the rest of the season?
I mean, it's just really hard to see them getting in. One, because the committee does take into effect, injuries.
They do.
So there's that's number one. Number two, guys, I'm sorry, it's hard for me to see them going to Auburn and winning. I mean, Auburn is legit defensively. I thought they would have a lot of trouble with Tua, and now they're without Tua. I don't know. Part of me thinks that that's going to be a tough hurdle. But in 11-1 Alabama, if they do finish 11-1 without Tua, you'd have to have a couple of Power 5 champions, Pac-12, Big 12, lose another game along the way, I think.
Ross, let's talk just to LSU for a second here. 57 points, win by 21. Obviously, the offense was incredible, but the defense was horrendous. There's all kinds of talk about, do you still rank them one over Ohio State? What's your evaluation of what you witnessed this weekend?
Well, I know the committee has their eye test deal, as we just talked about with the injury, them factoring injuries and things like that. I mean, I wish we didn't have any of this stuff and we just had automatic bids. I think I've made my case for that enough where I don't have to get into it here. But so I try not to look at the the whole eye test. LSU won and they scored, a lot of points doing it. It was never really a close game. I mean, it never really felt that close. So I try not to necessarily hammer a team because of a statistical performance or any kind of statistical category. So it wasn't even a thought in my head that I would keep them number one. Here's the thing, though, guys. We have 3 weeks left in the season before the Selection Sunday.
Yeah.
And LSU has a middling team in Texas A&M, a bad team in Arkansas, and a really good team left in Georgia. And Ohio State has a really good team left in Penn State, pretty good team left in Michigan, and what could be a really good team in the Big Ten championship game. So they're going to have 3 more quality wins. LSU is going to be able to have 1 more quality win. And I wonder, just leaping ahead here, Ohio State keeps looking really good against these good teams.
Yeah.
And LSU's defense continues to allow all these points against a schedule that isn't as strong, a remaining schedule that isn't as strong. On Selection Sunday, can Ohio State make the leap? I think they might be able to.
Where does Oklahoma stand in all of this, Ross? Because it certainly feels like if you look at the remaining schedules of Oregon and Utah, they'll be heavy favorites to win the rest of their games. That sets you up to have a 1-loss Pac-12 winner. Oklahoma getting down early against Baylor, but on the road, incredible comeback. If you have a 1-loss Big 12 champion, a 1-loss Pac-12, what happens there?
Yeah, right now I've got Oregon at 5 in our S9 Top 10 poll. Oregon at 5 in Oklahoma at 6, in Alabama at 7. That's kind of how I got it structured right now. I think here's probably the situation. If Oklahoma's 12-1 and they're sitting as Big 12 champions, and Oregon is 12-1 as Pac-12 champions, I think Oregon probably ekes in over them. Now that would the contingent here is LSU running the table, because if Georgia beats LSU in the SEC championship game, that throws everything.
Yeah, no, assume for this
Georgia
that LSU runs.
are in, right? So I think Oregon gets in over Oklahoma in that situation. But if Utah pulls the upset, right, and they're 12-1 at Pac-12 champions. That might be a situation where Oklahoma
Wow.
then gets in over Utah, maybe, just when you look at strength of schedule stuff, quality win stuff, the whole eye test stuff. I mean, that's probably when you look at the Oklahoma getting in. That's Oklahoma's best shot, I think, is to have Utah win or to have Utah and Oregon drop a game both along the way here. That's what might have to happen. And of course, they need LSU to keep winning and Georgia not upset LSU. I mean, that again, the Alabama situation with Tua out. I just think in Oklahoma, one-loss Oklahoma, a Big 12 champion, a one-loss Oregon, Big 12 champion, or even Utah, basically a Power 5 one-loss champion gets in over an 11-1 Alabama. So I don't think that's the worry. I think the worry is Georgia right now. Georgia can really kind of ruin a lot of things if they happen to knock off LSU, because that puts LSU and Georgia, of course, in the playoff both, I'm sure.
No doubt. So it's interesting that you would think LSU would get back in automatically. We'd have to. We'll have that conversation if it comes to that. Ross, where does the Heisman race stand currently?
No, I don't. I think it stands with Joe Burrow. I don't think
Jalen Hurts after Saturday. Anything there?
I don't think so, man. When you ask around to some Heisman winners or Heisman voters, it's pretty clear. I think Joe won it against Alabama, and unless he has some kind of terrible unforeseen thing happen or whatever along the way here, he's going to be the Heisman Trophy winner. I'd be shocked if somebody came from behind and got him. I'm guessing it always could happen, but it just feels to me this is Joe's to win right here.
Ross, one more, and we'll get you out of here. The matchup of LSU Georgia, just looking ahead, and potentially you get that in the SEC championship game. How do you look at that?
Well, it's a great question because it's a really kind of an interesting matchup because Georgia, guys, reminds me of LSU 2014, 2015 under Les. I mean, they play really conservatively. They don't throw the ball down the field too much. They have a quarterback that has the capabilities, I think, of doing it. But I was talking to a coach over the weekend, actually, in a coach and an associate commissioner at a Power 5 school who's watching Georgia a lot. And we were talking about how incredibly conservative Georgia is. I mean, just almost scared, right? And so it's funny because you've got a team in LSU that has overhauled their offense from the version that Georgia is kind of currently running.
Yep.
And so you have these two teams going to meet on a neutral field in an environment that is probably going to be incredible with CFP stuff on the line. I can't wait. It's going to be good.
Ross, enjoy the week, man. We'll talk to you next Monday.